Hey, good morning, everyone. So I just wanted to walk you through this week's assignments. As you can see, they're posted right here. And I hope everybody had a great weekend and is ready for a great week ahead. We are continuing Unit 3 this week, which means you're going to have a couple of assignments as well as continuing to work on your interview project, okay? So let's go over to content and check out our assignments for the week. So again, you go to content, and you are going to click on Unit 3. And we are going to start this week in Lesson 3.4. And remember, we're talking this week about cultures, about different cultures and why we study different cultures. And this story is by Anna Quindlen. It's really kind of more of an article. She wrote it after 9/11, and it's called A Quilt of a Country. And so she talks about how America is a good, diverse group of people. And even though we may not all agree, hopefully we can all agree to accept one another's differences. So you are going to read this article, A Quilt of a Country, and paying close attention to the literary elements that she uses in the story. And then after that, you can have some practice with a review game. And then you're going to choose one or the other. You're either going to do task 1, where you fill in the chart from the story, or you can do task 2, where you write about a personal tragedy that you have either experienced personally or that you have maybe a tragedy like 9/11 that affected the whole country that you remember. So you can do either 1 or 2, and then you also have to do 3. 3 is where you're telling me who you are going to interview, okay? You've got to get your interviews done this week. So this is just you letting me know who you plan to interview for that project, okay? So that's 3.4. When you finish up 3.4, you're going to come back over here to 3.5. And maybe you've heard the song Blue Suede Shoes by Elvis Presley. If not, you're going to get a chance to listen to it and hear a little background about it in this lesson. But we're going to turn our attention to Langston Hughes. So Langston Hughes was an African-American poet, storyteller, story writer, and he wrote a lot during the Civil Rights Movement. And in this short story called Thank You, Ma'am, we're going to read about a good deed that someone did for someone, okay? So then you'll have some review games. And then when you come over here to task number 1, you'll either do number 1 or you'll do number 2, okay? You do not have to do both. You're basically just writing a paragraph, either answering number 1 or answering number 2, okay? And then also in task number 2, it's time to get started on your interviews, okay? You can interview up to 5 people. Maybe you interview one person and they don't give you a lot of good information and you want to interview someone else. That's fine. You can interview up to 5 people, okay? Now, you only have to interview 1, but you can interview up to 5, okay? And then your last lesson for the week is still about Langston Hughes, but it's lesson 3.06, okay? So we're going to talk about dreams. He wrote some poems about some dreams, used a lot of figurative language, metaphors and similes, so pay close attention to those. And then at the end of this lesson, so let's jump in. You can also listen to him recite a poem. Sometimes it's really neat to hear the author read their own poem and where they emphasize and put inflection. So you can do that in this lesson. You can also, and I would encourage you to read this background information on the civil rights movement so that you understand better the context of these poems. And then you're going to read Dreams Deferred, or A Dream Deferred is the first poem. And then Dreams is the second poem, okay? Once you do that, there are some review games that you can take a look at. And then when you open up the assignment for this week, I do not want you to do part B, okay? You do not have to do part B. That would be more for an advanced English class. The only thing you have to do is answer these 4 questions at the top, okay? So that is all that you have to do there. And then you're going to continue to work on your interviews and submit those to the Dropbox, okay? So that's it. That's your lessons for the week. Here is where I kind of run that down for you, but then you've also got some extra information at the beginning of each lesson. Make sure you read that. And as always, let me know if you need help. I'll see you guys soon.